Day number 3 of the Mid-Season Madness qualifiers. I'm joined by someone brand new. It's Johnny. Woo! Johnny, welcome.
Why do you do this, Joss? Why are you changing caster pair every single time?
I don't know. I just like collecting things. I'm a big collector, maybe a hoarder of casters.
You haven't collected me? You just like gather like 5 Johnnies. It's like, here are my 5 Johnny casts in my vault, in my chest.
And I trade them in for a real one. And I've traded them in, and you are now real. You exist.
You can trade 5 normal Johnny casts into a playoff cast. So that's a rarity.
There you go. Okay.
Okay. I see how it is. I see how it is. A collector of commentary. Love to hear it.
Now, I did prepare some things for Custer yesterday, some Australian facts. So I thought I'd give you some Swedish facts, Johnny, just to show how we're so close as human beings. Now, Sweden was founded in 1523 in June. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, that was pretty sweet. And apparently, someone obsessed with Swedish culture is called a Sweeaboo. So there you go. There's that.
Sweeaboo? Nigga, you can't say it like that. It's Sweeaboo. You can't say it like you can't say it like, you know, like we're weebs. You know, it's
Sweeaboo. Okay.
Sweeaboo?
Well, that's what Wikipedia said.
I want to be a Sweeaboo.
Maybe one day I'll become as big as Sweeaboo as you. Anyway, let's get into the game. Enough.
I appreciate it.
Whatever this was. Outlaws versus the Justice. Johnny, I think this is where the Outlaws need to come alive. We talked a little about it off camera okay, Outlaws. They've lost against the Dallas Fuel, they've lost against the Shock, and they've had some fairly close games against teams like Paris and Mayhem. It feels like right now, this is where they need to start ramping it up. Their schedule's only going to get harder later down the line with Gladiators and Atlanta Reign in the next couple of weeks. Washington Justice are no slouches, though, defeating NYXL yesterday in a 3-1 fashion.
Yeah, I feel like the Houston Outlaws, we almost like consider them like edging onto that like top tier teams, you know. It's like, oh, they should be competing with like the LA Gladiators, they should be competing with the San Francisco Shock. But so far for the Houston Outlaws, it's been that like 3-0 win against Dallas Fuel. And since then, not a lot to show for it. Obviously, they had a bit of a lower bracket run at the Kickoff Clash stage tournament, but it was not like anything surprising, right? I think we'd like to see more from this team, Jaws.
Well, here are the starting lineup for today. For the Outlaws, we have Dante coming in. I can imagine playing the Doomfist. Of course, it is Control, so Dante playing Doom does kind of make sense. It's what they've been running almost permanently for Control. Merit and Pelican, and Lastro and Iris to round out the lineup. And now, Johnny, we've seen a lot of double flex support. So Lastro and Iris stepping in, like, it's good news for the Outlaws, really, when you look at this meta.
Yeah, interesting to see how they actually, you know, figure out their roles as well, because Iris, you know, when he was on the Atlanta Reign, he was like one of the best Baptistes in the league, right? Because they played a lot of brawl compositions with the Reinhardt, etc. And so he played a lot of Baptiste to really aid those compositions and heal the rest of his team. Now you're playing with Lastro as well, who, you know, he can play a pretty formidable Zenyatta. So maybe they'll even do like a bit of a switch between the supports, where typically you'd have your primary flex support player be the Zenyatta and the Ana player. Maybe they'll change that up with this lineup to suit Iris and Lastro's preferred heroes themselves. So Houston Outlaws, it feels like they have a lot of options this stage, Jack. If they want to play the Doomfist, like it seems like they're going to do this initial map, or if they want to cater to the Sigma later on with Piggy and waiting in the wings.
Maybe. Let's have a look at Washington. Their opponents for today. It's Washington's second game in the Mid-Season Madness qualifiers. They've already won against Excelsior yesterday. And Krillin was the player of the match. He was absolutely dominant on the Zen. And when I look at the Justice, Johnny, they've got a lot of extremely talented players. And I think this is a meta that kind of suits them. Their solo potential, especially in the DPS slot, is insane. And that's what this meta kind of needs. You need that Tracer, that solo hero in the backline trying to take care of the supports. You need a Sojourn on the high ground, or someone sitting all the way back on the Widowmaker. Happy, of course, sitting on the bench right now, as we have Assassin starting. But this seems to be a good meta for the Justice, just on paper.
Yeah, and I think we expected to see perhaps Krillin in the lineup as well, playing that Sigma, because that's what we saw the Washington Justice they were so successful with the other day against the New York Excelsior. But Mag in the lineup this time around, as you mentioned, like the star caliber on this team, we can't talk enough about it. Decay, he almost like single-handedly beat the New York Excelsior. And we're not kidding around. Like, his Tracer is just overpowering. It's so hard to deal with him, and he's clutch when it really matters. Assassin in here for the initial control map. Something we saw in their series against the New York Excelsior as well. He played a bit of Tracer, or he played a lot of Widowmaker actually on Outlaws Ruins. And he also brought out the Echo. So perhaps Mag and Assassin in for this initial map is a bit of a control strategy for the Washington Justice.
Well, I don't know. Were you trying to make a joke, or because we're going to control first? Was that your grand plan? That joke there, or no?
No, I'm saying it's a strategy for control maps. Okay. Anyway, there was no joke. I'm not that funny, Joss. Okay, you don't have to look out for all the jokes and stuff when I speak.
I just like explaining them, Johnny. That's the funniest part.
Ah, I see. Okay, yeah, all right. Complicated jokes.
Yeah, it wasn't that complicated. You said control for control. Anyway, Oasis, let's get it. Assassin, Decay, like you mentioned, and Mag starting for the Justice. And someone we've seen a little bit, of course, from the Outlaws is Piggy. But we've seen Dante more often than not starting on control. But Piggy's Sigma has looked so good. And that's pretty terrifying. If Justice don't get this early kind of lead and this put on the tempo, put on the pressure of the Outlaws, I feel like Outlaws could run away with this game completely. I mean, you probably think the opposite, since you're the only one that predated the Washington Justice.
Yeah, about that. The Houston Outlaws here, with Dante on the Doomfist. I feel like, setting the stakes for this team, they have to look good in this matchup if they at least want to live up to the sort of reputation we gave them going into the season, right? With this kind of lineup and dedicating themselves to this Doomfist composition. Perhaps it's just a, Oasis map kind of thing, but still, I feel like they have a lot to prove in this matchup going up as the Washington Justice, who is a pretty formidable opponent. So rolling out here with the Ash and Tracer composition, perhaps taking a step back here, waiting for the dive to come in from Mag on the Wrecking Ball.
No Sojin, unfortunately. Still pretty good. Ash from the high ground, sitting up there with the Zen. Oh, that's what you want to see. All right, Krillin. Nice little right click, maybe. Onto Pelican, already starting off the match pretty hot. Into Discord on Dante. Use that power block to stop all that damage going through. And Krillin still doing damage. Justice, after that point unlocks, they end up capping first.
So I don't feel like the Houston Outlaws, they're in a rush to really get in here and fight. They acknowledge that Mag on this Wrecking Ball is going to be a threat when he drops in and slams the backline of the Houston Outlaws. So you have that Doomfist. You just want to play around the Dante here. Protect your lineup, get some space, and see if you can get a pick onto Mag.
Krillin in a little bit of trouble. Had the Discord orb applied, but ducked into cover to disengage the Discord. Lastro now. And he's going to walk away. You don't really want to get in front of Krillin right now. He seems to be still warmed up from yesterday. Dante going really low. Discord instantly killed off by Mag. The ability to track down the Doomfist as soon as he runs out of those cooldowns is pretty easy for the Justice. But Merit sitting on the flank with the Ash. All right, okay. Just annihilate the backline and Justice give up the point.
So this is going to be a developing story here as we take a look at Mag's Wrecking Ball. Last year, obviously, they tried to play this Wrecking Ball, the Washington Justice, for a bit. We all remember the Assassin, Sombre in Peace, etc., right? But Mag, he was known for being this very passive Wrecking Ball. Didn't really commit forward, and we acknowledge that he's playing with a Senora and a Baptiste here, so it's not really a dive composition. But interesting nonetheless to see if Mag can get any value on this Wrecking Ball, because he was a bit infamous for his Wrecking Ball performances last year. We want to see him develop and put on a good show here.
Are you going to put up a celebration in a minute, Johnny? I don't think we'll have time, honestly. The round's pretty short on control. All right, Pelican's got the pulse. Decay has one also. Mag trying to take control of the high ground. It's going to be important to stop Lastro and Merit from doing anything. There's the pulse from Decay. Wasn't quite successful yesterday, but a little bit more so this time around. Nice slap to stop that pulse from killing Krillin. But the Justice still struggling to get on the point. With Mag going down, the space that they have is at a negative. Transcendence used to stop Dante one-shotting Krillin, but Decay needs to find a little bit more than 2 kills. Luckily, Assassin was waiting in the wings for Decay to kill the rest of the team. Now the Justice take control back of the point. Dante got nanoed in that fight, and an instant trans from Krillin saved them, and they ended up taking the fight win. Assassin a little bit low, but he's healed up.
I think you'll take that. I mean, if you're the Houston Outlaws, you got out both support ultimates, right? And getting rid of that Transcendence is going to be a huge boon for the Houston Outlaws as they get into this next fight. Lastro has a Transcendence of his own. Maybe they can use this to push their advantage if someone gets low. Decay here, fighting against Pelican, dropping quite low here.
Yeah, he's good. He's got the orb.
All right.
Bob's available. Or Bob was available. I'm not sure where Merit's Bob went. Okay, Bob coming out from Assassin Auto. Just running straight towards Decay, but I mean, the Outlaws just wiped the entire team. Okay, so not sure where the Bobs ended up, but I don't think they did much.
It worked. That's all that matters.
Yeah,
it worked.
Sure. Okay, Assassin's now on Sombra. No bob for them.
Okay, so obviously swapping away from the long-range hit scan to the Sombra. You're gonna try to be a bit more aggressive. See if you can get any hacks onto Dante. Maybe that opens up this point. You know, both teams have the Zenyatta Discord Orb, right? So one misstep from either team and you're gonna get picked with all that incoming extra damage. So a very volatile situation here for Washington Justice. See if they can try to win this last fight coming up.
They're gonna need to. 10% away before Outlaws take the round. Post bomb for Pelican. Decay's got one in his back pocket too. Now the Outlaws scurrying away from the point, but they still have the Transcendence to back them up if they really need to. Trying to execute a plan onto open. A nice pulse followed up. Immortality field didn't last all too long, and now a Transcendence should round this out. Dante and Pelican running away with this game. The Justice backline stood no chance after that Immortality field was burned. It's just Mag on the point. He's very low, has to wish for some heals. Opener not even switching over to the Lucio, so he's going to be miles away from the point right now. OT ticking through, and this should just be it. The Outlaws claim round one.
Impressive. I gotta say, you know, Lastra and Iris combining here with the double flex support lineup, Merit as well on the Ashe, playing a pretty passive approach. You know, they're not trying to overextend too much. Pelican lands some nice pulse bombs. Dante tries to stay alive for most of the fight, give his damage player some room. So I gotta say, the Houston Outlaws looking really impressive so far in round one, Jaws.
Yeah. Regular day in the office, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's those.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
What?
Do you remember when they played Paris? Just like we'd rather play ranked. That got a bit close. You can't get cocky. You can't get cocky, Jaws.
It's round one.
It's round one.
I was going to say, you know, maybe it's Jake's 15-mile bike rides per day that's fueling the Outlaws. Not sure.
Hey, cardio's good. Cardio's good.
It's
good
true.
mindset.
It's true.
Good feels.
Jake's a cardio master at this point.
But it's not in the lineup. But coach as well, I suppose.
He's not. His biceps and his thighs are big now. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm not.
Yeah.
There's probably a lot of fanfic being written right now, and I don't want to. Yeah. Justice. I'm doing great. It's good. Didn't talk about Jake fanfic on stream. Definitely not. Justice running out with his Sombra instead of the Ashe this time around, Johnny. Like straight up, they clearly just want to do exactly that. Just huck Dante as soon as he tries to go for an engagement, and then burn him down with that Discord. Lastro ends up dying also, and Justice, once again, they win these first fights. It's just about holding the point. That's their main problem right now.
Yeah, that's their main problem. And it's going to be difficult here. Pelican swapping over to the Genji, out of all things. Okay, that's interesting. Perhaps you want to get Nanoblade going to ensure some teamfight victories here for this team. The Washington Justice, it's an interesting composition from them, playing the Sombra and the Tracer. It's obviously something we've seen so many times in the past in Overwatch. But it's a very mobile composition, so they can play a bit protective around their supports here. Try to get some hacks onto Dante once more.
Yeah, Dante did get hacked. But he's more than okay, just chilling.
He's up there.
Pelican gets the kill onto Assassin. Wow, okay. It's the same problem Justice had last time around. Feels like they're not being as decisive with their team.
I mean, it's the Justice, Jaws, okay? Like, I know I'm not on the desk. I don't know if I can rant when I'm like a commentator. That doesn't feel professional to me. But they're not really known for their hardcore dives coming in here. So we're trying to find those picks. And Assassin trying to build this EMP. Maybe he got caught with the dash from Pelican dropping low. Quite easy, of course, when you're playing against an Ashe and the Genji all at once. But Decay has this pulse bomb. And if you're the Washington Justice, you know what Decay pulse bombs can do for you. So let's see if we can find an opening pick here, perhaps, onto Pelican.
Yeah, his pulse bombs didn't look good yesterday, but today they're starting off pretty fine. There's a stick onto Dante. Dante gets nanoed, kept alive. Huge nade, but the pulse bomb still manages to kill Pelican. Dante was a little bit too close to his Genji. Immortality field burned already by Opener. Now he's in a lot of trouble, but Decay doing what he does best in solo carry. Killing off Merit. Dante pops up into the sky. That Meteor Strike to save him from the damage that Mag was outputting, but Outlaws still control the point. 50% and building with a lot of ults online for the Justice. Should be an easy fight, but the Outlaws don't want to let this go without one. Lastro and Dante end up dying after that window. Was a little bit too much to bear. Oh, Iris shooting
an extra pick.
Nice.
You love to see it. And crucial there as well with Assassin saving the MP. Obviously had to translocate out and dropping his translocator down in the well, so it's going to be a bit tough to get back. This time around though, you can go aggressive. The Washington Justice, I don't mind them sitting back and trying to find these opening picks onto the front line, but you have to mix it up. So it'd be nice to see an aggressive dive come in there, and Assassin is setting up for it.
Enemy here.
EMP.
Watch out for this one.
Unless...
Getting the hack, dismiss the hack. Merit takes a whole bunch of damage. Now the Justice have to go in. Pelican could just force an engagement with a Dragon Blade. That's got the nano to back him up, so maybe wants to save it for the time being. But forcing out the Transcendence from Krillin might be the aim of the game. Pelican now in the backline, but in a little bit of trouble with the Discord Orb applied to him. For the rest of his team are more than happy with Pelican being a distraction tool right now. A blade comes out as the Transcendence fades away, and so does Opener's Life. A nice little hack, but that'll fade away quite quickly. Krillin gets the kill on Pelican, but Outlaws still control. The Justice have 85%, but the Outlaws, every single fight, are just coming out on top. These crucial picks and forcing Krillin's ultimate so early is super bad news for the Justice right now.
They're doing such a good job, and they still have that nano as well. They can apply it to both Dante to get some space onto this point, or Pelican perhaps if we want to build another blade. There it is.
Nano boost onto Dante, removing the mines with the slam, and now Mag's getting chased down. An ultimate available for Dante if he wants to use the free escape. But the Justice need to be able to react. Dante's getting all the pocket in the world and then some. His spot bow support. The lamp's gone down already. Big meteor strike. Krillin's in a whole bunch of hurt. And Opener 2. A nice dive from the Outlaws. The supports from the Justice do not stand a chance. They need to come back rather quickly as overtime is here, but it's looking rather unlikely. The Outlaws, 2 rounds on the board, and that will be map number 1 to their name.
Good showing with Dante in the lineup. Playing that Doomfist, we question it going into this series. More teams are playing Wrecking Ball, they're playing Sigma these days. Can you make the Doomfist works? And against Wrecking Ball, it is a naturally good matchup for the Doomfist, so Dante coming in clutch on the Doomfist as well. Good showing for the Houston Outlaws here. The Washington Justice, perhaps see if they want to swap away from this Wrecking Ball, if they want to go over to the Sigma. They got a couple of choices to make going into map 2. Series far from over, Jack, but it's looking good for the Outlaws.
That is true. It's only map 1.
Cope,
Don't get
maybe?
in your heads about it. We'll have to look who they want to sub in and sub out after this break. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a bit.
Please don't let me in
Please don't let me into my zone. I just need some time on my own. All these people trying to get a conversation. You can conversate to that tone. My God, from that throne, yeah. So I'm never alone, yeah. All these people trying to box me in. I'm at my weather, it's on, yeah. Now they ask where I'm at. Making hits that line back. I'm MJ, I'm 2-3, man. I just need some time back. I'm zoned in like defense. My life gone, no recess. But I live my best one, so I got no regrets. So I'm gone. Finally back in my home. I'm working like so much. They swear I had me a clone. Can't answer my phone now. Just leave it there, that tone. Ballin' can't beat me up, cause I'm back in my zone now.
Welcome back. Outlaws upper map already, Johnny. Would you look at that? Your pred not looking so great. Unfortunate.
Hey.
Maybe there's a comeback.
Hey.
What?
Don't criticize my trades, okay? They're still alive. They're still alive, okay? We can't have Custa's ego get to him after the first map of the day. All right?
Well, I mean, is it Custa's ego or is just everybody apart from you who's part of the Outlaws?
Wow, that's actually true. Because you saw the fan pick'ems as well. They all predicted the Houston Outlaws. Oh, no,
yeah.
Not all of them, but the majority did.
Yeah.
So I do feel pretty lonely, Jaws. And when I feel lonely, I feel like you should, maybe encourage me and not put me down.
Okay.
It's like, oh, you're gonna.
That sounded like it was going to start with an ad read for something. Not sure what, but yeah. Anyway, the Outlaws, they're a map up. Justice, they're, look, there's still bright spots here and there, right? We are seeing a couple of substitutions. And Control, with Assassin being in, we're always seeing this at this point. Happy stepping in afterwards and Piggy coming in for the Outlaws. And what we talked about in the lineup to this series was, or at least in the first map a little bit, was Piggy's Sigma. Like, it was one of his best heroes by far last season. And we're in a meta at this point where you can play Sigma a fair bit. Control, I think, is a little bit dicey depending on what maps you're going to. But for Eichenwalder, like, Sigma seems like name of the game. So Outlaws subbing out Dante, putting Piggy in. This roster is looking super clean now.
Yeah, for sure. Do you remember last year when the Houston Outlaws, they beat the San Francisco Shock, and Piggy Sigma was just like a huge part of that victory? I believe it was Junkertown, overtime, and a bad Symmetra teleport. I'm going back into history, but Piggy, with his performances against top teams like that, really impressed us. And even if you go back and look at some of the data generated power rankings, like he was by far the best Sigma in the league, right? So you have to give him some credit and respect going into this matchup. I think the Houston Outlaws, they're going to be a team that plays well around this strategy. We already mentioned it going into the match, of course. We didn't see it this first map, but double flex support on this Houston Outlaws lineup. You have Merit, who's a great hit scan, promoted from contenders this year, and Pelican, who's like this amazing master of all trades. Not a jack of all trades, it's a master of all trades. So it's a very well-rounded lineup here for the Houston Outlaws, and we'll see if they can bring it in this matchup. I feel like as this stage progresses, as we see the Houston Outlaws play more and more maps, we're going to get a pretty good idea if there's a team to be reckoned with come the Midseason Madness tournament as well, Jaws.
Yeah, and I think one thing that can't be overlooked, Johnny, is the fact that Justice have already played a game in this tournament cycle.
True.
So the Outlaws have a little bit of VOD they could go back to, see what Justice like to play, see how they like to play, where they like to set up, etc. So Justice coming out with something a bit different to what we usually see is the Ashe and the Sojourn. Sometimes, well, more often than not, it's like Tracer and Sojourn, Tracer and Ashe. So more long range, like pressure on the shields and pressure on the backline with those dynamites. A lot of AoE potential too, actually, thinking about it. With that dynamite plus the disruptor shot, like, that can burn people pretty quickly.
Absolutely, and especially with Discord Orb, right? I don't think that Tracer necessarily is this required pick here on point A, especially if you're... Oh my... No, stop.
Oh my god. Okay, that's a good way to start first point. Decay just wanted a cheeky little dynamite on the backline, and you hit him with one of those. All right.
He's Tracer, Jack. He's the Tracer now.
He is. He is indeed.
Well, tons of value from that Ashe. I don't even think he hit a shot. Didn't have time to hit one single shot as Ashe.
He was just lining up for that dynamite.
Point now if you're Outlaws.
Well, Immortality Forward's already burned for the Justice, so they got one less defensive tool to use. Decay's back on the Tracer, touch him point to make sure Outlaws can't cap, but they're 10% away from doing so. Kalios is going pretty low as Piggy burns him down. Very little support. Justice have to play in these small corridors, and it's easy for Happy and Decay to get on the point, yeah, but the Outlaws are just so well fortified that it doesn't matter. Krillin kills too, but the point's been unlocked. The Outlaws getting that payload going. Krillin kills more people and the lamp and helps Decay. Okay. Krillin's still popping off.
Did he push it to spawn?
Yes.
Where is it going?
I think he did.
All right. Well, I mean, yes, you are right. The Houston Outlaws, they capped the point, but also a huge bonus. You know, Costa loves to mention this as well. The Houston Outlaws are able to open this gate, which takes a little bit of time off the clock. And maybe the Washington Justice, had they won that fight, they could have earned themselves some time favors. But instead, Krillin pushes it to spawn, and they're going for this castle setup. You can see Happy on this flank is going to be crucial onto the Sojourn, but also Opener being able to play on this bridge. This is a good setup for the Washington Justice. It's going to be hard for the Outlaws to break through here.
A lot of shield to charge your rail off of, well, if you're Happy. About 80 to 85. Oh, good eat from Kalios.
Nice.
Takes that pulse one. Good thing about Critting killing a lot of people there is he might be able to match Piggy for ult charge. Transcendence used when the flux is out. Decay gets denied with the pulse, that sound barrier. Sorry, the immortality field. But Happy doing what he does best, headshotting people with the railgun. Popping the overclock. Decay, an Opener are finding kills. Happy rolling Piggy. And like you said, Johnny, they have a very, very good position to hold from here. It's so easy to get a lot of charge for your railgun, and just sitting up on the high ground as Zen is so good. Let's have a look at that eat.
Absolutely, we see this. This nice eat.
See ya.
Look at that. That's good play. You love to see that. Yeah, it's a tough setup to break here if you use an Outlaws, but you have this dragon, and that's going to provide you a lot of time. So interesting to see where Merit is going to place this. It's going to force the movement of the Washington Justice, and then you can use that to your own advantage. It seems like they're pushing up the castle.
Oh
maybe take this free.
God, how does he snipe him through that small door? He was on that small ledge just where the cart is right now, just found Lastro once again. Outlaws, luckily though, Johnny, they do have high ground, so they're going to be good for the time being.
They do.
Happy in a little bit of trouble, running to that mega health bag, but Decay's just harassing Merit off high ground. Look at this. Oh, Merit finds the kill though. Doesn't matter. Okay, normally you expect the Trace to win those 1v1s. Harry's still killing people though. Iris falls to the Disruptor Orb, and yeah, Piggy, that's a wasted ultimate. Killed mid-flux as Washington Justice holding the fort right now.
They are. This is such a good setup. Can't be said enough. The Houston Outlaws, they utilize that Dragon Strike as well. Don't get any value from it. Like you said, Piggy using the Gravitic Flux as well and doesn't get any value. Gets killed off before it even gets used. Now you're in this tough position if you're the Houston Outlaws. You need Pelican to find a big pull spawn. But you're playing against Opener. See in the tower or
Flux hits one. Nice rock. Very, very nice. But it's still set up Happy for success. He's still holding this high ground. It's so hard to dislodge him, like. I mean, that was a good rock, yeah, but Piggy still gets killed.
It was. Absolutely. But you're, as I mentioned, like you're playing it against this Baptiste, right? With the immortality field. So if you're Pelican, you're like, well, I'd love to find a pick here with my pull spawn. But they pretty much have a, you know, a safeguard against one of these pull spawns. They can just utilize the field and you can't get any value from it. So Pelican has to be huge here. Being poked down by Decay. But the rest of the Outlaws trying to push up into the castle.
Okay, this is Decay's time now to come alive with this pulse bomb. Happy already. That's the third time in a row he has killed Lastro first. Like, you can't keep getting away with this. Decay, he's found the stick. Well, kind of. It stuck the wall. Piggy took a little bit of damage, but that's just about it. Decay hit with the recall, but it still forces Piggy all the way back. And without Lastro, they are lacking a significant amount of healing. Windows getting opened up by Outlaws, but an easy push through. Happy with a headshot onto Iris. 1 minute and 40 seconds remains for the Outlaws. And they had 5 minutes pushing the payload past this gate. Johnny, this is not looking so hot right now.
It's not. I think they have a little bit of regret right now. Some of these fights, they're using the Dragon Strike late, they're using the Gravitic Flux late, and this time around, it's the Amplification Matrix as well, and they can't get any value here. Only the Transcendence to work with, 120 remaining. Perhaps you want to get this Transcendence out from the Justice themselves, and maybe you have 2 pushes into the back here.
Someone,
dropping low.
Please, disrupt Happy. One time. He's been up here for free, like the majority of the game. Piggy steps forward.
Can you climb over there if you're the Hanzo? Can you climb over like contestant?
Yeah, you can, but Happy, I guess, just kills you. He's got overclock too, so disrupt a shot where the Hanzo lands, and Hanzo has to climb back over because you just take too much damage, and your weapon basically turns into hit scan because you're close range.
They have 5 ults.
Tough. It's tough. Overclock. It's ready and waiting. Don't let him do it again. Oh. Don't let him kill Lastro. There's the Flux. Does it hit anybody? Yes, it does. It hits Piggy. Immortality field used. Now Piggy going pretty low. Transcendence activated, but an overclock to match. He can still headshot one shot DPS and support targets with that overclock. Pelican dicing with a little bit of death, but wastes a lot of that ult charge time for Happy. But Piggy's already dead. Lastro gets chased to spawn. The pulse from Pelican goes wide, and the Justice are still holding down. 15 seconds to go, and the Outlaws need to come alive.
10 seconds remaining. You're going to get this gravitic flux. Crucial that Pelican gets the touch here. There's no transcendence on the Washington Justice side, so the Outlaws, they're still in this. Have to be able to get value from this flux though.
Window coming up. Piggy with the flux, almost 5% away. He needs to get it online. But Pelican's already dead. That window with the high ground's just too good. Happy's in there going melee mode. He's had enough. He just wants to end this right now. Outlaws get pushed off the payload. And what was a very quick first point capture with an initial pick onto Decay turns into the biggest, like a Mount Everest sized climb for the Outlaws on that second point. They barely get it under the bridge.
Initiating.
So impressive from the Washington Justice. And this is when everyone pops off on that team as well. We talked about it going into the game. You got Happy and Decay as your damage duo here. Krillin has been amazing so far this stage in his opening match and opener. Having some good performance on that Batiste as well. So you got that great setup. Crucial positioning from Happy being able to take that flank angle. Opener on the bridge as well. It's hard for the Houston Outlaws to break that setup. I don't want to say that they made any crucial mistakes or anything. It was just really good defensive play from the Washington Justice. And now the question is, if you're the Outlaws, how are you going to stop the Justice? Merit again going out on this Hanzo, and you gotta wonder, maybe you'd like to see the Sojourn here? Sojourn's been so strong so far, Jack.
Yeah, me and Scott talked about it yesterday. It feels like a poor person's Sojourn right now. Like, oh, you can play the Hanzo, yeah, you can one-shot people, but it doesn't nearly give as much utility and even mobility as the Sojourn does. I mean,
well, even here,
let's look at this guy here.
No?
Happy went 10-0 that round. Like I said, someone needs to kill him. Someone needs to disrupt his positioning, get him off that high ground to stop him from doing this. He just didn't die.
So that's why I want to see the Sojourn perhaps coming out from Merit here. Because the threat of the alternate fire, the railgun, is just so strong. It's essentially like a Widowmaker shot, right? If you got that charged up, all the way up, and you hit a headshot, that's someone down, and you have to play around that. You have to play safe around that. But if Merit rolls out onto this Hanzo, yeah, I mean, you can throw a couple arrows out, maybe you can hit a headshot yourself, but it's a slower hero. It doesn't have the same amount of pace, and so it's going to be easier to avoid those arrows. I'd like to see the Houston Outlaws perhaps swapping over to this Sojourn, but they're committing to the Hanzo for now. Let's see if they can make this hold happen.
Yeah, well, that's it. They have to commit it, right? Because they can't just run back to spawn. Iris's lamp already gone down, and Piggy's in a whole world of hurt. Big shield from Kalios there. Johnny, you saw it. Just put it straight in front of Piggy, and it's hard for Iris and Lastro to get heals in unless the orb's already attached to him. Justice now pushing in. No tank for the Outlaws. Should be a fairly easy game, and Krillin just kicking Lastro to death. That punch icon needs to be changed to a little boot.
A kick?
Yeah, a little kick icon, yeah, 1000%. Look at him go. Does he want to win player of the match again? I think he does. I think he does.
He's so good. And I mean, Costa, he mentioned it on the pre-show as well. They got Vigilante waiting in the wings. Perhaps, you know, everyone thought that Vigilante was going to be the primary flex support player when he came of age, but Krillin,
for sure,
with some outstanding performances so far, really earning himself this starting lineup spot for the Justice.
5 minutes for the Justice to get to second point. Outlaws are in a similar situation, but I mean, at least Pelican's taken Happy's spot. He's not nearly as effective as Happy up there, though, unfortunately. It's all about the rotation from Justice, though. They can use that window for a nice little flank, maybe. Set Happy up pretty well. Happy is just doing whatever Happy wants, okay? Let him be. He's being happy.
Let him flank. Yeah. Big flank. Yo, Krillin is on the flank as well in the castle.
He can just kick people off the edge. Nice stick, though. Big lamp from Opener. Happy does get found out eventually. Pelican's on cart duty right now to make sure it doesn't get pushed underneath that bridge. It is so close from being capped at this point. Decay and Krillin have the high ground, but with Opener dying, it's going to be a two-man wrecking squad right now. Don't think Krillin's going to be able to survive this. Decay is going to use his mobility to get out, but Krillin still survives. Okay, luckily enough. The Outlaws don't go for a big chase. He's chilling, vibing. Oh, big stick!
He's chilling.
Huge kill onto
Big stick.
Lastro. Lastro's having the worst game of his life. A terrible day to be Lastro right now. He's just getting bullied. Washington Justice now on the high ground. Iris in a whole lot of trouble. That flux is going to come out from Kalios, and Piggy luckily picking up the kill onto Krellin, but they still need to be able to touch the payload. Piggy now giving up that high ground advantage to aid the push onto the point. Decay wins the 1v1 with Pelican. Now is a 2v2 on the point. Piggy, big flux, comes down. Kalios, low HP, but saved once again by Opener's Immortality Field. Decay on the flank, doing what it does best, this solo hero carry for the Washington Justice. A Transcendence to keep Outlaws in the fight now, but is it going to be enough? It doesn't look like it. Happy has got the railgun, but a perfect stick from Pelican, but can't touch the payload in time. The Washington Justice steamroll over the Outlaws on Eichenwald and tie up the series.
Dominant showing from the Justice. That's what we wanted to see if we predicted the Washington Justice. What a great setup on point B of Eichenwald there. Where many teams, they failed to stop them onto point B. The Washington Justice, they secure an easy win here on Eichenwald and tie up the series 1-1. We got a series on our hands, Jack.
We do. A little bit of trash talk in the chat there. Happy said, Dante in? Question mark? Dante in? Maybe? I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to go to a break. They'll hash that out, I'm sure. Map number 3 coming up next. carry performances across the board right now for the Justice. Just an absolute blowout on Icon Valor, Johnny. It was like playing tug of war with a 5th grader. I mean, the Justice, they cap with 5 minutes, the Outlaws cap with 5 minutes, but the Outlaws just unable to get it underneath that bridge. And the Justice, like I said, solo carry performances. What we talked about at the start of the show with the way the meta is kind of developing, almost every single piece of the compositions is performing independently of each other. Happy is on a flank, Decay is doing, well, what Decay does, kill everybody, on Tracer. And then you also have Krillin. I guess him and Opener are kind of chilling together. He is also just destroying right now on the Zenyatta. Like, this seems like the perfect storm for the Justice. And the Outlaws, right now, they need to weather it. It's one apiece, but it's a vastly different game from what we're seeing from map number 1.
Absolutely. I mean, control map, you can sort of like, you know, it's not that too much impact like the rest of the series. It's like, okay, well, you know, Justice, they played back, Wrecking Ball, and Outlaws, they played Dante Doomfist. It's like, okay, Outlaws, you won the initial map. But the series is determined over the course of 4 or 5 maps, you know? So the Washington Justice bringing out the Sigma composition. There is nothing they like learned from map 1 that they're like, oh, this was this amazing piece of knowledge that just like led to an Icon Valor hole. It's like, no, they played vastly different compositions. They played different tanks, right? So the Washington Justice, that performance on map 2, that really just shows what this team can do when they play these Sigma compositions. And Kalios on this Sigma, like, they turn a page when Kalios is playing this Sigma for them. It's an entirely different team. Krillin, he was just like floating around in the castle as Zenyatta. He was in his flow state. It was beautiful to watch. Happy, fragging, amazing performance by the Washington Justice. And this is what we wanted to see from them. On the other hand, Jaws, the Houston Outlaws here, we talked about it already. They got a great team for this specific meta, but they just didn't stand a chance. Pelican had some impact moments on the Tracer, but largely I feel like Merit needs to step up here on Dorado. It's a long-range map. It's Dorado, right? Prime for the Widowmaker that we see him have selected right now, and those type of heroes. So he needs to be able to compete with Happy if the Outlaws are to stand a chance here on Dorado.
I want to see if Merit can get a nice initial pick. He did before. Okay, Widowmaker. It's going to be versus Happy on the Sojourn. You can jump from roof to roof if you are Sojourn. Worth keeping in mind. And yeah, you can see already, like the positioning from the Justice, they're just taking these high grounds. Merit's not going to have too many angles to work with.
Dude, it's a spreadsheet. It's the spreadsheet positioning.
Is that what it's called now? This spreadsheet positioning. The spreadsheet comp. They're everywhere. Individual cell.
I mean, look at it. They've been in custom games, just like standing around. Like, you stand here, I stand here. Happy gets a pick.
God.
Dude, stop this, man.
He is locked in. Absolutely locked in right now. Oh, well.
Just look at them, like the aggressiveness. They're just like at the spawn door of the Houston Outlaws.
Yeah.
This is an entirely different Justice. Kalios is on the ball. I've never seen Kalios ball before. Have you?
Yeah, well, you know, we have now, and what can you really say? I mean, they're kind of dominating. And look at Kalios, dude. He's like a spy. He's just... Look! How stupid is that? And like, he just jumped, power drives, Opener's already setting up. Like, he's a spy in their backline. He could just spy the positioning of every single person, call them out, and then just execute like this. He might end up going down. He does. Pelican chases him. And with the Justice losing 1, maybe 2, actually. Okay, Pelican picking up Decay. Justice are going to have to play back.
Okay. So the 100 IQ take here is that Kalios overextended and he's a bad tank.
Okay,
the 150 IQ take is, oh, they got 1.5 minutes off the clock. If you're the Washington Justice, it's fine. You can come back to the point, you can set up normally here, and you have another chance of defending point A here, so you're good.
Well, window available for Iris. He's done a lot of healing because everybody's been dying, so... We're taking a lot of damage at least. Where's this pulse one going to land? Lamp already gone down. Oh, that's bad look. That's a bad look if you're Opener. Using that a little bit too early. 30 HP. Pelican here with a recall. Opener just managing to dodge away. All the meanwhile, Happy in the front line is just killing Iris. Krillin takes care of Pelican. The Justice, the perfect response. I thought the land was a little bit early from Opener there, Johnny. It looked like he was in a lot of trouble, but Pelican couldn't quite find the kill, and his team just died in the backline.
Ultimate is ready.
And they didn't really invest any major ultimates either. Sure, you got the minefield out of Kalios, but that's nothing to celebrate if you're the Outlaws. I mean, you still have double support ultimate, and you got this positioning ready to go. The Outlaws, can they maybe break it with the Flux? Krillin finds a pick onto Merit again.
So Justice leveling up on the warpath. Nice little land. Beautiful
nice
slide from Happy. Can't slide out of that one, unfortunately. Piggy is pretty low. Happy receives the lamp to keep him alive, but look at the positioning that the Outlaws took there. As soon as that flux came up, the entirety of the team rotated around to make sure no one from the Justice could escape alive. Good cap. 3 minutes and 30 seconds. But now the high ground war, Johnny. Trying to take that away from the Justice is going to be torture. Like, Kalios can boop you off, Krillin can now boop you off, and Happy sitting with an overclock already. It's looking pretty scary.
Yeah, so you already see the Washington Justice. They're spreading themselves out on both the high grounds as well. Kalios is sort of safeguarding one side of the map with Happy, and meanwhile Krillin is up here with Decay. So they've taken this positioning. Maybe they can poke away Pelican. Try to get some damage into here. Recall from Pelican on the other side of the map, actually. See if the Washington Justice can put some poke into the Outlaws here and try to find an opening pick. Pulse bomb from Decay is going to be important here.
Just looking for someone to step out of line. Kalios retreating, had Discord orb on him. Up HP. He's good though. He's chilling.
Push, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're letting the payload go a fair bit here. Refusing to act, but they have to wait for Kalios to go for this big engagement. Now Decay is on the payload. Try and stop that movement. Right, Decay setting up for a devious pulse. Nice bob. Now the overclock comes out. Every's pretty low. That's, yeah, that lamp ain't going to save you now, Iris. There is the Transcendence, but with 100 energy, you could still go for some kills. There it is, straight through the Transcendence. Merit was not expecting the headshot. The bot created a little bit of space, but with that gone now, and the Justice with high ground like this, Piggy has got so many angles to look at. It's going to be almost impossible for him to do anything. The rail does end up missing. Happy doesn't miss the 1v1, but Lastro ends up claiming it. Pelican was there to aid him. Pulse bomb online for the Outlaws. The Transcendence from Killing to keep everybody alive, and Decay doing what he does best. The Pulse does nothing. And the Justice with nicer spawns, they should be good. But with Decay dying, actually, maybe I should eat my own words.
And the high ground.
Yep, there you go. Eventually worked out. That window, it was more a desperation one at that point to try and claim that payload back. But okay, Outlaws, now they're coming alive. Maybe a bit annoyed that they lost the last map. 2 minutes, well, we'll call it 3, going into third.
So I think it's crucial here if you're the Justice. You want to get at least 2 fights here, right? Because even there, on point B, you only allowed the Outlaws to really win 1 fight. Sure, it was a bit of a brawl, but you let them push the payload so far that it really didn't make it that hard for the Outlaws to secure that point. Outlaws here with the flux, and there's no Transcendence on the other side. So if the Outlaws just push the high ground here, they could get significant amount of push here to end the map, potentially.
Yeah, they're very willing to let the payload kind of push, so they can fight in a more favorable position. No support ultimates to counter the Piggy flux. Transcendence will be very good right now. And look at this positioning from the Outlaws, just directly under.
Contest, bro.
Just trying not to, yeah, get poked at, right? But they're just refusing to contest still. All right, Pulse Bomb available. Pelican. Still looking for something. Stick on the shield. Kalios still takes a whole world worth of damage, but eating that Pulse Bomb somehow, I thought that went off, but apparently not. I'll trust the kill feed. The Justice just drop on the Outlaws. The AoE from the Hyperspheres cannot be understated, especially in those small corridors.
Oh yeah, so powerful, and especially if you got the Zenyatta from far away applying the Discord orb as well. Got a bit of a replay here from Kalios dropping in. Hello!
Oh, there's so many people. Oh!
What?
Oh, no, it's because the shield dropped the Pulse Bomb. Yeah, so the shield dropped the Pulse Bomb, so he just ate it. That was really nice, actually, from Kalios.
Was that calculated?
Yes.
Do you think I anticipated
Absolutely.
that? Like, oh yeah, the shield.
He's been in that position a million times. Yeah, big brain.
Absolutely, yeah. What a star player. Kalios, huh? What a guy.
Oh, what a guy. I like your analysis of players, Johnny. I love it. What a guy. Overclock available. Everybody in that small, tight room. Not where you want to be. Bob's going to get sent to the other side to force Happy away. Still has a nice little sight line, but Merit takes care of Decay. Wasn't expecting that damage, maybe. Now Bob's got all the support he needs in the world, plus a window. With 40 seconds to go, the Justice have ultimates, but they don't have a lot of space to actually work with. The Outlaws are still pushing the payload. The Flux, are they going to be able to touch? They eventually do, but The Justice have just forgotten the point for so long that they've left themselves in quite a sticky situation. And now Decay with a nice pulse onto Lastro. He does kill 2, but Merit finishes him off once more. It's Krillin versus 2. The Transcendence on top of the point. He's stalling out for as long as he can. There's a couple of seconds left to go before the rest of the team get back alive. Merit super low. Happy jumps up in the air. A double kill with the overclock and 10 seconds to go. It's Krillin and Happy holding down the payload.
4 seconds remaining. I don't think anyone can touch.
No one can.
That's just it.
No one can get there. Pelican gets booped off. Wow. Krillin and Happy making sure the Outlaws can't cap. Perfectly timed by Krillin there. Transcendence out. He's immortal. And would you look at that? Happy comes back with the overclock. You can always rely on Happy when he's on that Sojourn.
What a game. What a game we are treated to, Jaws. I mean, that was a clutch and a half. You thought Justice, they were out of it. Last minute or last ditch attempt, just trying to contest the payload before the Outlaws push it in. But then Decay comes in clutch with a pick, hits the pulse bomb as well. Krillin's left alone, juking around the payload. He has the trans, finds a pick himself, and then Happy comes in with the overclock as well. My goodness. Wow, what a match this is. And both teams looking pretty good there. Justice, of course, not as clean as we'd like, but the Outlaws, they're stepping it up here in the 3rd map and maybe looking to secure themselves the 2nd map of the series.
For sure.
Or their 2nd map.
I think the Outlaws, they had a lot of free space, I will say. Like, the Justice very willing to let them push the payload to get a more favorable position, but man, Happy Sojourn is so clean. This is Decay's POV from the last fight.
So crucial.
At pulse.
Get that Tracer pick and then the pulse.
Yeah. Little dash away. Merit doesn't take any damage, but Lasher is dead. Like, so nice.
5, 4,
Justice looking good. Happy on the Widow, but I imagine he changes. Or Merit, no, Merit is on the Widow. Maybe he just takes the duel here.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he swaps here initially, but
okay.
If you know that the defense is playing the Widowmaker...
How does this, like, what?
Krillin is the Widowmaker, Jack.
Yeah. Who needs a sniper rifle when you got a couple of Orbeez?
One small Sen versus one Widowmaker.
Oh, that was good.
But yeah, going back to my original point, like, you have Happy in your lineup. I don't think you mind taking this Widowmaker head-to-head if you are the Justice. Sure, it might mess with the tempo of playing the attacking side, but I think they're quite comfortable here. They're just going to push this payload a little bit. Decay lurking around with the Zenyatta. Harmony Orb as well. Oh!
If only that shield wasn't in the way,
no,
he'd have got that headshot. That's what I always tell myself when I miss shots. Oh, if that shield wasn't there, like, I don't know, like... Oh, if that wall wasn't there, it kind of sucks. I would have hit that.
Jack. Yep. You're still a better Widowmaker.
I spent a lot of time at Widow DM servers, I'm just saying.
I have not. Reinhardt, though.
Oh, Reinhardt DM servers? Just Ryan 1v1s?
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. You know what?
I've tried that a couple of times, actually, against the hard Ryan AI bot. It is pretty tough. It is pretty tough. I'm a very bad
so
player.
hard. So hard.
All right, Kalios is dead, unfortunately. Justice, again, kind of allotted a little bit of free space there after that initial pick from Krillin, but haven't really done all too much. Timebank's slowly slipping away from them. Okay, Sojourn swap now for Happy. Okay, he's had enough.
Okay, so the Sojourn swap comes out, and it is a bit questionable, I suppose. You can make it work because she's so strong, but you have to look out for these Widowmaker angles now. You can't really contest the Widowmaker. It's up to Decay, but he's busy with Pelican already. They're just going to slide in here. So Happy actually takes like a bit of an off angle, but they have to find these picks at some point.
Oh, whoa, I don't know where that went. Happy was sliding that direction. Maybe that would have hit. Nice flux. No lamp available. Ares took care of the lamp before that flux even hit the ground, and Pelican and the rest of the team are just going to clean that one up. Good one.
This is looking good for the Outlaws.
Yeah, exceptionally good. 1 minute and 40 seconds remains, Johnny, and they only used the flux there. Oh.
Yeah, only used the flux.
Alrighty.
Yep.
Merit.
Almost 3 ultimates here.
Online.
incoming.
They're just waiting for, I guess, Kalios can, yeah, okay. Kalios can go for this big flank here and then a big power drive into the back line, force that lamp, get Decay in there with a pulse bomb. But Sights are going to make that infinitely harder. That's going to burn a lot of time with the time back. Johnny.
Oh.
No, opener's good.
going to be tough, yeah, coordinating this dive, because the angles are quite long, right? So Decay, perhaps with this pulse bomb, has to come in big. Kalio's actually spotted. They're so far away now, though, chasing him. I wonder if this can be an entry for the Justice, capitalizing on this.
That was close. Krillin almost found another key pick. Unfortunately, wasn't quite so lucky. Pulse bomb for Decay. Straight to the back line. Lastro.
No lamp.
No lamp available. Double window straight on top of each other. Double glazing. Oh, Iris wins out the duel. However, Decay with the pulse bomb on the ground does end his life. And now he's a 1v1. Make that a 3v1. As both DPS and the Outlaws come out to help Lastro. It's 25 seconds to go, Johnny. And a double Transcendence will keep both teams alive. But the Houston Outlaws still holding down. And with Piggy fairly, well, not close, but he might get fluxed for this final couple of moments if he does enough damage.
There's 10 seconds left.
Maybe not.
I mean,
maybe not.
Decay pretty much has to touch here because everything else is a suicide. Kalios, maybe he can dive in here. They don't really have any ultimates either.
They have to, right?
This is gonna be so close.
Oh, Merit. He's got a Zenyatta in his sights. It's going to get forced away, though. They just want to kill this Wrecking Ball. Yeah, there you go. A melee kill destroys the ball. And now Decay in the 1v1. Merit's going pretty low, but still has the grapple to get away. Lamp used to keep the Widowmaker alive. Decay still harassing the backline. And Merit actually SMG mode just going crazy. Okay, Krillin, you're going to have to come up with something big here. But nope, it's not going to happen. The Houston Outlaws hold Washington Justice on first, and now they're on match point.
Wow, what a turnaround from Eichenwalde as well. We were all getting hot and just like, oh, Washington Justice. Wow, look at them. What a team.
What a team.
Look at this. Look at this team and how they've improved so far. And then they get shut down on point A here on Dorado. We know that they like to be a pretty passive team, right? We know that they like slowing things down, get that perfect execute going, but they just couldn't find any picks. Decay, no value whatsoever. Kalios on the ball, bit of a question mark.
Yeah.
Perhaps you'd like to play that Sigma instead. This series is just up in the air. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you, Joss. It could go either way because these teams are looking so erratic. I don't know which way this is gonna go, but 2 maps remaining. Maybe Washington Justice can bring it back and push.
Maybe. We'll have to find out. We're going to jump to a break. See you in a sec.
No one seems to be able to stop Dante.
Nobody does it better. I'm sorry, but nobody does it better. Oh my god, that is filthy! Come on, man! Dante is actually just playing with his food! Dante's in the backline once more, just causing havoc. Look at him, zipping, zooping, zapping around. He is a man on a mission.
There's the post. There's the drag as well. Oh my god, I didn't expect it. Huge post bomb, Dante.
He's in the backline and he's tearing him up, tearing him to pieces. When Dante is playing on point, he makes a case for one of the best tracers in the world. This is what's so scary about Houston. There's going to be the hold in the stick, and there's the bomb. Dante coming up with a double kill, just ripping people to shreds. Dante the one clip. Dante might be able to clutch this one up for him right now. Oh my goodness! Post bomb hit down from Dante. What is that? One of the most freakishly good tracer performances I have witnessed in the Overwatch League.
Is that a big enough hint for you? It should be. Dante, of course, if you don't remember. Yeah, he's a DPS player. Yeah, we've seen a lot of him on Doomfist this season, but he's actually stepping in. Pelican taking a back seat right now. We got Dante on DPS.
Question mark?
Question mark. Dante in.
What's going on here? What's this?
Dantelius.
Dante DPS? It's going to be interesting, Jack. I'm really looking forward to this. Not quite sure what he's going to bring out. Pelicans mostly been playing the Tracer, I suppose. Brought out some Genji onto Oasis as well. But I don't know what he's going to play. I seriously don't know. We barely seen the Dante DPS so far this season.
I know, it's been mad. Well, Coliseum is the map, Johnny. We are going to push. We've seen a fair bit of different compositions on this map. We've seen the Rush from like London. We've seen this weird Double Dragons meta thing with Zarya and Hanzo once again. Of course, we are in a brand new meta, brand new patch. So probably more Sojourn, probably more Tracer is what I would imagine.
So you think they're subbing in Dante for the Tracer?
Maybe. Maybe.
Because here's the question, okay? What does Dante do that Pelican doesn't? Sombra? Tracer?
Sure. They want to run.
But even Tracer, like Pelican's Tracer has been good so far this season.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what they bring out. A bit of a strategic decision from Outlaws. And I don't think they're doing this decision lightly by any means. We all acknowledge that Dante is a really good damage player when he's on top. But they wouldn't just sub out Pelican just, you know, willy-nilly. They'd have a good reason for it. So interesting to see what Jake, Cardio, Bicycle Man has cooked up in the labs.
Nice. Nice throwback to map 1.
Throwback? Oh, you don't like me throwing back?
No, I do. I said nice throwback.
Okay. All right.
It's not... There was no double meaning there. It was just... It was nice. I like that, Johnny.
It was good times.
I like that.
It was good times.
All right, let's have a look. Yeah, so maybe sticking on this. Dante on the Tracer. I mean, like you said, maybe is that flexibility if they want to change something else, or maybe Dante's been primarily playing the Tracer recently on this map and been doing better than Pelican. I have to wait and see.
You can't forget, though, Pelican came up clutch with that heroic moment in the Kickoff Clash tournament against Toronto Defiant as well.
Which is what Merit is playing right now.
Uh-huh. We'll have to see. Well, Decay's not even taking the Tracer duel.
Yeah.
Washington Justice committing to the Ashe Sojourn composition again, Jaws.
Yeah, I don't think he was... Ooh! Read like a children's book. It was too easy. Decay already starting off pretty big. Justice pushing forward should be pretty easy. Well, you know, Decay is a good solo player on the Tracer. How about just flanking on the Ashe permanently? I mean, the long sight line is good, and you can hop over the wall just like this, even sit on top of it.
They're just collecting themselves a little bit. Washington Justice, and waiting for the perfect moment. Name a more iconic duel. Iconic.
Yeah, I mean, Happy's going to get a lot of value on the Sojourn, at least. Shooting the shields is quite important, building up the rail charge. And then these long-range spam fights, you got 2 versus 1 in a sense, but right now, Decay is mainly just flanking. Dante already forced to use the recall as soon as Happy just looked to his left slightly. Man, Piggy, I think Piggy's just having such a rough time. Like, his shield is just not surviving long enough for him to really make any space.
He is, and you're seeing the outlines as well. Like, Lastro is on this angle. Oh, Dante just gets...
Not great. Not great. Nice return kill, though, by Piggy.
Nice
they do trade DPS, but Decay is on the flank, burning people with the dynamite. Does almost get hit with the arrow. Looked like it did, but it didn't end up happening. And it's Krillin. Again, just these individual small plays. They're doing great, but the problem is getting the bot to actually push in this situation is pretty tough. There's a lot of cover everybody can hide behind. Decay's going to take some of that away with Merit going down. Now they're making their push finally. A big kick into the wall. Oh, kick out of the wall, sorry. Nice Transcendence to counteract that damage from the Flux. And Decay once again finding the headshot onto Dante. Outlaws now in retreat. Let's go, Krill.
So that took about 2.5 minutes, you know, to get that first fight going. I'd say that's, you know, pretty quick on Washington Justice terms, relatively speaking, of course. No, I'm kidding. Iris is actually on the flank here for the Outlaws. See if he doesn't get picked. No, he's all right. Okay, so they're Justice setting up here, and this is a tough fight because now the Outlaws, they have the high ground. Dante has a pulse bomb, Merit has a Dragon Strike, and while you have the Flux yourself, you're playing against a Baptiste, you have a Bob. Well, he's gonna be on the low ground too, right? So Washington Justice, are they just going to forfeit all this positioning, acknowledging that they're playing at a disadvantage on this low ground? Decay, though.
He's got a Bob. He's got a Bob. Happy's going pretty low.
But he doesn't have a recall.
Merit might get deleted. There's the Bob. Merit, he's still alive somehow. A huge Dragons from Merit from downtown. It kills Opener and Happy. The Bob's in the backline doing a fair bit of work, but it's all on the DPS, the Houston Outlaws right now, but Kalios and Krillin are holding down TS1. Decay on the flank still. A nice shotgun blast with a dynamite damage kills Iris. That was just a messy fight. You don't know what angle to, or what player to spectate at that point. Everybody was doing a little bit of summon. My word.
Dude,
how did that Dragon kill 2 people?
Exactly, that was going to be my point. We need to see a replay of that Dragon Strike. When did we ever see a 2K Dragon Strike? That was like not an
without grab.
Absurd.
Absurd, yeah.
Like, yeah, absurd indeed. Well, Washington Justice, they still have their Gravitic Flux here, and Happy as well has generated that ultimate that can be very handy in these long corridors. So still in the lead with 34 meters. Nothing to cheer about, nothing to really celebrate. Lastro has this Transcendence to counteract the Flux, but it feels like the Justice, they should be favored in this fight.
Very much feels that way. Flux, even paired up with the Overclock, could be quite devastating. Just a slow slugfest. Reminds me of the Hanzo comps from before, Johnny, where, Dante almost got stuck on the wall. Nice little railgun lineup. There is the Flux, a nice rail on to Iris, but it doesn't end up actually connecting with his head, so only a little bit of damage. Transcendence comes out. One shot potential still here for Happy. Overclock still going through. Windows being utilized too. Krillin gets the kill onto Merit, but that window doing a whole bunch of work for the Houston Outlaws right now. They're carrying behind it. Iris keeping up his support duo. There you go. They pushed through what looked like a very good fight early on from the Justice, using the Flux and the Overclock. They weren't able to get much done, not with that Transcendence going off.
Yeah, great Transcendence from Lastro, keeping his team alive there. You're missing Merit here now, so let's see how far they can push up. Don't really want to take any
nice rock.
The Bob.
Nice rock. All the way on that Bob. The Bob can't do much. Well, he's got high ground, I suppose, and
no.
one small angle, but that's about it.
He's guarding.
He's chilling. It's Bob.
Yep. So this is what we typically see from teams here. Outlaws poking away though. They've baited down the Justice, and now this is going to allow Piggy to use his Flux.
There's a Flux. He's in the back line, and yeah, there's no follow-up damage at all. Maybe Dante landed a stick, but was unlikely. There's the Pulse in the corner. They duck behind the counter, serving out some bread. Decay finds Dante and Merit, and the Justice still winning these fights. The Outlaws are only 2 meters away from getting the lead, and now they're on the defense, sorry. Nice lamp in the corner. The Justice looking like a formidable force. The Outlaws, though, they're still holding it down. The spawners are coming back, and the Justice recognize that, and hold S, just get into a safer position.
Yeah, Marathon again with a Dragon Strike. Can he get another 2K?
There's no shot he gets another 2K here.
They want this positioning.
That contest range is quite big, and Happy was just holding around that corner, and the bot wasn't moving at all. And it's all about just making sure the bot doesn't get too far, so Kalios can reposition. Spam City right now. One shot range. That was a nice reaction time there from Happy getting away from that window. One arrow to the chest would have killed him through that window. So keeping alive is very nice, but window underutilized. I mean, didn't really get much apart from position.
Yeah.
Overclock?
Yeah, a bit odd there. Maybe that was a bit of a mistake.
Overclock?
See? Oh,
he's going in.
It's aggressive.
Very aggressive.
Happy's
Disrupt
going.
shot, but Overclock's looking good. Transcendence to make sure Lastro escapes alive. A headshot was hit by Happy, but he's so low. Hey, 10 HP. Someone's got to heal it. A return Flux and Kalios does kill Piggy, but the rest of his team have fallen around him. And now the Outlaws, in control of the robot, will take the lead.
They're going to get the lead here. 3 minutes remaining in this map as well. Let's see if they can get it up towards the checkpoint, the spawns, or coming in from the Justice. Should be able to contest this in time, but you have to be careful. Lastro, of course, not here. Piggy not here either. Still returning back to their team, but Outlaws with the lead. And knowing how slow this map has gone so far for both teams, not a significant amount of push on either side. This could be tough for the Justice to get this back. You need to win 2 consecutive fights, and we're playing Sigma compositions. We can't step up the tempo. See here, Dante and Lastro on a bit of a dive, and Decay's just rounded them. He went around him?
Yeah, he looped around the team. I mean, Dante's in the back line, yeah, sure. Happy gets a nice little railgun kill on to Lastro. Dante forced a recall, has to play safe in the back line. Bob comes out on to the point. Lamp's already been utilized, and Decay just again on the flank, because that's what Ash does. He's not Tracer, he hasn't got the blinks, but he's Ash and still doing the same amount of damage. The Outlaws not expecting Decay's Bob to destroy them and just split them up like that. I mean, he skipped past like 2 people, Johnny, and walked away scot-free like that. You just can't let that happen. Oh, Dante maybe going for a spawn camp on Krillin, but looks like he was spotted out.
Yeah, they need to fund Dante. They need to protect Krillin here. He can't go down, and they're going to probably step off here.
Yeah, they know where he is. They're good, they're good. But they've taken the lead, Johnny. 3 meters
they did
for Justice, and they back all the way up.
But I feel like you kind of want to at least take 2 fights here, because you acknowledge that Houston Outlaws, they have several ultimates coming up here. They got the Amplification Matrix, they're going to have the Gravitic Flux and the Dragon Strike as well. You want to get these ultimates out to prevent the Outlaws from utilizing these ultimates and get so much value all in one, securing the lead. You need to force the Outlaws' hand here.
I was going to say Flux Dragons, but they let it loose fairly early once again. Gaining space, yes, but not much damage or like a little bit map control, I suppose. There's the Flux window from the back line, and Decay's already killed Iris. A lot of healing now missing from the Outlaws, and Happy killing Lastro. Piggy's facing forward. He's not like he's got blinders on, but his backline just needs to survive, but the Justice aren't letting him do that. Happy with 4 kill, maybe 5. I'll have to check the replay, not gonna lie.
Oh, many of them.
The Justice now with 3 meters in the lead, and have 45 seconds to go. They're gonna be able to get a couple of more meters. The Outlaws need to step up. Oh, we're going to map 5.
And so many ultimates on the Washington Justice side. Sure, you have an Amplification Matrix if you're Iris, but you're going up against Happy with the Overclock. Decay is going to have Bob. Kalios with the Gravitic Flux. This is going to be such a tough fight for the Outlaws. If anything, I'd like to see Dante get a pulse here. Can he find one pick to open up this map for the Outlaws?
Look at Justice ult back though. 5 ults on the way, ready to go. Decay's 1 shot away from getting his. It's a tough hill to climb. It's 10 seconds to go, and Happy with the Overclock is just going to go in. Iris in a lot of trouble. Disruptor shot straight on top of both of them. Happy and Decay walking away with this map. The Justice, they're bringing them to map number 5. The Outlaws with almost no say in that round. It looked pretty close, but they just couldn't deal with Decay on the flank.
Washington Justice come in big. Here on Colosseo, a map they've struggled on historically. Hasn't gone their way in the past, but now take down the Houston Outlaws, and we're going to map 5 with both teams playing some incredible Overwatch so far. Both sides popping off. It doesn't matter if it's Hitscan, if it's the Sigmas. We got a great game on our hands, Jaws, and it's coming down to one final map.
Map number 5. We're going to jump to it. It's Lijiang Tower. We'll see what trades want to... who wants to sit back and who wants to step in. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. All right, rounding the series off on Control. Very intense music right now, and it should be. 2-2 for Outlaws and the Justice. And familiar faces back in for Control, Johnny.
Indeed. I don't know what to say, Joss.
Okay, well.
They've made some substitutions. They trust in these. The Houston Outlaws, you know, Dante is back in the tank role and Pelican's back in the mix as their damage player. This is something we saw from them on the Oasis. And the Washington Justice. Do you want to do the honors, Joss, from the Washington Justice?
What are the honors?
Saying who we're actually seeing in the lineup. I mean, the viewers can look at their screen, but we also, I feel like, have to do a vocal call out.
Okay.
Who actually is being subbed in here for the Justice.
Okay. Well, that's why I threw to you, but that's fine.
Yeah, and I throw it back to you because I don't want to do it.
Yeah, well, at least you're honest about it. Well, Happy, even though he's doing extremely well on the Sojourn, we really only see Assassin in for Control. So Assassin's coming back in, and Mag for Kalios. So same kind of thing we're seeing from Oasis. Standard Control matchups, but Oasis and Legion of Tower, two extremely different maps, and I wonder how we're going to see Washington Justice play this, because we've seen varying bits of we've seen a lot of different things Assassin's been able to run, but like, do you really sub out Happy right now when he is dominating on the Sojourn?
Do you really sub out Happy right now, arguably been the best player so far for your team in this meta, and do you sub in Mag to go up against Dante once more, who's likely to play this Doomfist on Control? I realize if you are the Washington Justice, this is what you've practiced. These are the lineups you've chosen ahead of time, and the outcome of this match, how the series progress, it's not going to impact the way you think about your lineups, the way you think about your substitutions. But at some point, I am a bit worried about what the Washington Justice got cooking here, because we saw how dominant the Oasis performance was from the Outlaws when they played against Mag on the Wrecking Ball. If Mag decides to commit to the Doomfist, different topic entirely, different question. We'll have to see how that fares for the Washington Justice, but subbing out Happy to begin with, that's a difficult decision that the Justice has made here going into map 5, considering how the first Control map went.
Yep, yes indeed. But if you want to play Sombra, you're definitely playing Assassin. And okay, Johnny, there you go. Prayers answered. It's actually Mag Doomfist versus Dante. Or Dante.
Interesting.
Yeah. Merit's on the Sojourn.
Merit's on the Sojourn as well. So a bit more defensive composition from the Outlaws here. You have this Genji and you kind of want to play in the area that your Doomfist protects, whereas the Washington Justice, you want to get low. You want to find hacks like we're doing on Merit right here, and you need to capitalize on these hacks and the Discord orb damage from the Justice.
Yeah, they almost got it done. I mean, that Discord orb plus the hack increased damage, the Sombra is almost one-shotting you.
True.
But the nice reaction times from Iris and Lastro. Oh, Assassin just...
But that can happen.
That cannot happen, no. Nice anti. Iris doing a fantastic job of pushing the Justice all the way back, and a headshot on Decay will end his life. Outlaws did end up capping first, and now they're racking up time.
They're racking up time. They're racking up non-boost as well. Iris at 70% already. That's going to be a huge boon into this upcoming fight if you can build it quick enough. Washington Justice, see if they can find any hacks here. It's really all on Assassin. You can see him flanking around, trying to find any targets, and then if Mag can sort of dive in and capitalize onto that, that's their only chance they have.
Hack on Doomfist, nice nade. Oh, didn't expect that one though. See you in the next stage, son. Iris got punched straight off the map, but you see the look on his face, like, how did that work? Can they turn the fight around? I mean, Merit has already killed 2 with the right click. Didn't even need overclock for that one. Goodbye, that's Merit with a 3K with the railgun. Can he make it a 4th? Decay come back here.
All right, that's what we wanted to see from Merit. We've been waiting. Happy is no longer in the lineup for Washington Justice. Merit steps up, and here he goes, winning a fight for his team.
1, there's 2. Easy lineup. One thing I will say, Johnny, because the Justice are playing this rather slow, that actually aids Outlaws' comp in how they want to execute their ultimates. Like, the Pelican takes a little while to actually charge up towards that blade, but because Justice are giving him enough time, because they have to set up with the Sombra hack, it's allowing them to get this Nano Blade online. They have 6 ultimates into this next fight. The Nano comes out, but Iris is already dead. Good trade so far, and Decay using this Pulse Bomb a little bit later on might be good, but the Doomfist getting Nano, not what you want to see. You might as well all press Q right now because it's 5% away from map completion. A hack onto Lastro ain't going to result in all too much, and Decay still holding on to that Pulse. Lastro ends up getting taken out. A Meteor Strike from Mag, and now he just needs the support from the rest of his team to find the cap. Overtime is here, but so are the Outlaws. Pelican's got the blade in hand, but with no deflect and no dash. Looks like the Outlaws want to go again.
And this is fine if you're the Outlaws. You could have turned that fight around, you could have invested your ultimate, but you choose to stay back, you choose to retreat instead. You have this Dragon Blade, and you have the overclock as well if you are Merit. This is fine. 90% and counting. You feel comfortable here if you are the Houston Outlaws. Let's see if they can bait out the Transcendence and then capitalize with their own ultimates.
This Pulse one's going to have to be pretty big. Nice double punch. There's the rally instantly used, but you've got to be careful. This overclock's been unleashed. Merit looking for somebody. Decay is diving around him. He can't quite find the kill. Overclock completely wasted, and the Justice, they end up capitalizing on it. That blade still being held by Pelican. They only need to win 1-5, so maybe saving that until they get another Nano is the name of the game.
Only one fight. But you didn't get that Transcendence out. Lastro is actually going to swap over to the Zenyatta himself for that bonus damage. So you have the Houston Outlaws. Naturally, you're going to look at their composition and you say, hey, they got a Dragon Blade coming up. But Krillin has the Transcendence. So actually, the biggest responsibility falls onto Iris here. He has to hit a huge Biotic Grenade to counter the Transcendence healing and set up Pelican for success.
Oh, tried to go for the hack. Lastro jumped out of range. Nice punch, actually, by Doomte. Mag got sent back into the enemy team, but Krillin comes up big, as he always does, killing Lastro. And the Outlaws now, yeah, they had 99%, but Justice are looking rather fresh right now. They're 80. Assassin with the EMP could be rather big. Nano onto Doom, but not onto Pelican. He's still holding on to the blade. That punch from Dante hits the wall, yes, and he's actually getting body blocked. The blade comes out as soon as that Transcendence fades away, but it is just a wet noodle, basically, against the enemy team. The Justice deal with him handily. And now overtime is in session as the Outlaws did manage to recap the point, but the Justice are in firm control of this fight. Keeping Mag alive is the top priority, and unfortunately they failed. The Outlaws now need to push the Justice off, and they should be good. But Decay's Pulse is big, and the nade is even better.
Huge pulls from Decay there, finding that pick. Mag's not in the fight, not going to be able to control this space, and Merit finds a pick onto opener. The Outlaws are in a good position here, but the damage from the Justice with this Discord Orb, they just keep dealing damage and they capture point as well.
Krillin keep on killing. Justice, they end up recapping 5% away from winning the round. The Outlaws need to touch, and they do so quite easily, but Iris is in a whole lot of trouble.
Iris is dead.
3 members of the Outlaws tried to go for that big touch and left Iris just out to dry. Mag running back to the rest of his team. The Meteor Strike got no damage done, but saved his life. Overtime still here, and the Outlaws need to be able to cap. Merit finds Krillin, and they activate the beat to shift the tempo in their favor. The rally's good, but the overhealth just not landing. Mag just gets focused down. The Brigitte, pretty unkillable. They dive to the backline and finish off Merit, but the Outlaws have control. Overtime ticks down. And Outlaws, they find round 1.
Deep sigh of relief if you're the Houston Outlaws there. And it came down to Merit once more. We praised him for his Sojourn play, and finding the pick there onto Krillin is what sets up the Houston Outlaws for success in that final fight. Removing the Zenyatta Discord Orb, that forces the Washington Justice hand to go aggressive. We don't have our Zenyatta anymore. We need to dive in. Lastro comes in with the sound barrier to protect his team, and the dive is nullified from the Washington Justice. Great play by Merit. And the Houston Outlaws secure the first round here on Lijiang Map 5.
5, 4,
Feeling pretty good for the Outlaws.
1.
One more round will do it. TP's out, same kind of stuff. We're seeing Johnny. No Sojourn to start, though. Merit's on the Ashe.
Merit's on the Ashe. Perhaps you can find some dive angles here. If you're the Doomfist, it's so effective in these narrow corridors, right? So the Houston Outlaws are going to try to stay in this open space and protect Merit, their long-range hit-stealing player, against this 2-man dive coming in from Assassin and Decay. Damage duo of the Justice. Probably going to get this point.
Yeah, they should
on
be
the
able
Justice
to.
now to find some hacks.
Yeah, Krillin and Lastro have got environmental potential now, which is fantastic. Kicking people off the edge. Not sure if we've seen one just yet, but you've got to be a little bit more wary of your positioning. Wow, Opening gets focused down so fast. Nice kill onto Lastro, though. Didn't really expect everybody to be behind him. He was attempted to get healed, but didn't quite end up surviving. Merit holding down the fort, though, but it is Decay. And of course, he's bringing the pain. The Justice, they don't let the Outlaws cap, most importantly. And are bracking up 50%-ish, but no, Dante very quick to come back and making sure the Washington Justice don't cap now. Oh, no, take it back.
They got it.
They got it.
Yeah, you gotta forfeit. You gotta back off here. All 5 are there, members too. Dante dives in. Justice staying back. Decay has a pulse bomb. But they're just gonna give up the point here. Oh,
well, hello. That was a pulse one right in front of you. Decay with the pulse now. Everybody's pushed into that wall. A beautiful punch by Mag sends everybody flying. The pulse goes out. It connects with the wall, but no one else. A little wave. Hello. Maybe goodbye to the rest of your team, Decay, because Lastro's on the field. Nano Zen just to keep him alive. Ends Assassin and Decay's life. DPS who? The Outlaws find a team kill and gain control.
So I was actually going to question the Ana pick coming out from the Houston Outlaws. You're playing against this dive composition from the Washington Justice with the Sombra, with the Tracer, and instead of going for the Brigitte, you go for the Zen Ana with less protection. But the Nano works out, you apply it onto Lastro, keep him alive. This score is going to be huge. Now it's on the Washington Justice once more to recap this point. An Assassin has the EMP, but difficult to find that value required. Mag dropping low already.
What an unbelievable coach gun there from Merit. Push Mag all the way back. And even a Transcendence. The bomb literally flattens Decay. Unfortunate. That Transcendence, ill-timed from the Justice.
Ill-timed from the Justice, and I mean, that's going to be so important. 50% and ticking here for the Outlaws. 48% away from winning this series. And losing that Transcendence is going to be big. You only have like a couple of fights here, so you need to be able to win this fight quickly and establish some control for your own team.
Well, I guess the Justice have the rally and this EMP. They just want to get Lastro, strip the shields away. Nice hack. EMP comes through. Transcendence can be activated. They weren't quite quick enough to kill Lastro, even though he was hacked, then EMP'd. Oh, hello. Mag is trying to hit an old school Doom Fist rollout, maybe. Or was trying to, but now it's sitting in a corner.
This is going to be last fight. It's going to be last fight, Jack.
I mean, they've already used one of their tools, right?
It's on Decay once more. Here he goes.
Nope. No pulse bomb unleashed. Mag's already dead. Luckily, though, Mag sends Iris off the edge of the map. 2-for-2 trade. Now it's a 3-on-2. Dante killing Krillin. And now the big damage dealers for the Justice are in trouble. Doomtay comes up big with a nice triple kill in that fight, and that'll be it.
This is it.
The Outlaws just wiped the Justice. A 2-0 on control and a 3-2 in the series. The Outlaws find the dub.
What an amazing series we're treated to here. Houston Outlaws, Washington Justice trading maps back and forth, but it's the Houston Outlaws that close out this crucial series for the Midseason Madness tournament. Every win matters so incredibly much. And it's the Lastro, Nano Senora, that comes in huge for his team. If you're the Washington Justice, man, you have to be kicking yourself. You lose both control maps and they're so important. Not able to make this Mag dive work with Assassin in Decay. It looked good at times, but overall, I mean, the Houston Outlaws, you gotta give them credit for a really good showing here today against the Justice.
Yeah, they look super good on control. I mean, they won both control maps 2-0. Like, you kind of know what they're running with, right? I mean, it's going to be Doomtay. Like, we've seen him like once now on DPS, and control not the strong suit of the Justice. Assassin comes in, and unfortunately, yeah, he's burnt twice on control. Happy was the real standout performer for the Justice today. Same with Krillin, to be fair. But the maps they were in, yeah, they did well, but the Justice fallen flat. Feels like Outlaws just like, okay, game plan, boys. Go to map 5 because we'll win control. Easy peasy.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a good showing from them. And it's not only like Dante playing Doomfist and playing super aggressive, which we said he did last stage, remember? Yeah. They were supposed to be this dive Doomfist team. When you play against Sombra, Tracer, Senora, you gotta be careful. And so I think it was a good showing from the Outlaws, not only because getting the win, of course, but because they're able to show this adaptation to what the Washington Justice brought out, being able to play the slower, pace of style, that's really going to be something they'll have to utilize later this stage. So a good initial showing from the Houston Outlaws here in the Midseason Madness.
Yeah, they're looking great. That's 1-0 for them right now in the Midseason Madness qualifiers and a 5-2 overall. Let's have a look who the player of the match was, though. He wasn't in for the last map, but he's definitely made impact throughout. It's going to be your boy Piggy.
It's going to be your boy Piggy. Great Sigma showing. I mean, I think you could say that both tanks were good for the Houston Outlaws. Because Dante, I mean, he won 2 maps, right? He came out as Doomfist and played 2 maps.
Yeah.
But I really want to see more from Piggy being able to play this Sigma. Had a good showing here on Dorado as well. This is what he does best. Arguably his best hero in his entire tank kit. We talked about his performances last year, and again, comes up clutch today. And this is going to matter a lot as we progress through the Midseason Madness. Can't wait to see more Piggy on that Sigma.
Yeah, it's looking good. I think Houston Outlaws are very glad we're entering a meta where Sigma is prominent.
Love that pose. Rock on, buddy.
Look at that, 12 elims per 10. 7k damage. Not, not peaking like 12k like a DPS player can, but 7k per 10 as a tank. Not looking bad at all. Piggy's looking fantastic. Outlaws too are off to a strong start. We did have questions on how they'd actually do in the Midseason Madness because they've had close games with teams like Paris and Mayhem. They've lost to Glads and Shock. I mean, competition's only going to get tougher with the weeks to come. They're facing Glads and Atlanta in a couple of weeks. Like, starting here with a close 5-map series and flexing what they can do with their roster, even having Dante back in on the DPS. It's a good, strong start from the Outlaws.
Absolutely. The Washington Justice, on the other hand, they got a bit of an easier schedule, so it's not all over yet for the Washington Justice if you're a fan of them and looking out for them in the Midseason Madness. Obviously, top 8 qualifies from the Western region for the Midseason Madness, but they got a couple of easy matchups coming up for the Justice. So both teams very much in it this stage, Jack.
Yeah, they're super in it. I mean, Krillin's still killing it. God, that's yeah.
Krillin's still killing.
Look, hard name, okay. It's a hard name.
And Happy.
Happy's still doing really well too. Yeah, it was definitely going to be my player of the match if Justice ended up winning that one. He went 10-0 on Eichenfelder. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the Outlaws need a strong start. Like, it does seem to happen. It does seem to be a trend with the Outlaws where they start really strong and then it kind of peters out towards the end of these tournaments.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. But this time around, I mean, it was a pretty close win. Yeah. So maybe, a bit more consistent this time around, not as like, ups and downs, maybe a bit more consistent performances from the Houston Outlaws. And you can build on this and actually compete with some of the better teams, because that's what we want to see from the Outlaws, okay? We don't want to see them go to map 5 against the Justice. We want to see them go to map 5 against the Gladiators, against the San Francisco Shock. And with what they showed today, I think they can definitely build on this performance and look better on as this stage progresses.
Well, speaking of the Glads, they're up next. They're against the Paris Eternal. Thank you very much for casting me, Johnny. I do appreciate you. I just wanted to...
Thank you, Jack. It's so much fun. It really is.
I'm glad.
I feel welcome here.
That's good. That doesn't sound sarcastic at all. We're going to jump to a break. We've got that map, or match even, coming up next. We'll see you soon.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Upper Deck, the official trading card of the Overwatch League. And by TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League.
Welcome to Game Break, everybody. I'm here joined now by Lastro from Houston Outlaws. Lastro, congratulations on the win. I feel like this match, it really went the distance, went all the way to map 5, but at the end, Houston Outlaws were the winners. How'd you guys get the win against the Washington Justice? 자, 일단 오늘 승리를 축하드리면서 경기 굉장히 접전이었던 것 같습니다. 하지만 끝에 승자는 우리 휴스턴 팀이었기 때문에 오늘 승리 어떻게 해서 이기시게 되셨나요?
좀 쉬울 줄 알았는데 상대팀이 좀 신기하게 게임하더라고요. 그래서 좀 많이 힘들었던 것 같아요.
Alright,
그래도 결국 어떻게 하는지 알아서.
Going into the match,
아니요.
어떻게 하는지 알아서 계속하세요. 어떻게 하는지 알아서.
네, 상대팀의 게임 어떻게 하는지 파악해서 마지막에 결국 이겼던 것 같아요.
Okay. All right. Going into the match, I mean, I actually thought that it was going to be an easy win for our team, but unfortunately, it wasn't the case. They had some interesting gameplays that we sort of needed. It was like a work that we needed to solve, a problem that we needed to solve throughout the match. But fortunately, while we did have some troubles, we were able to figure out their composition and their play style. So at the end, I think that's how we got the win. Yeah, and I also think, you know, because this was such a close match, and you guys did have a lot of great plays, but I think if I have to pick one map that, you know, that Houston Outlaws really seemed to struggle, I think it was Eichenwald. I think it was on your attack after the first point. You guys really couldn't push the cart a little after that first point. So I just want to ask you, Lastro, like what happened in Eichenwald on your attack? 방금 얘기했던 이제 경기 질문을 좀 더 더하자면은 제가 봤을 때 이번 휴스턴 팀이 굉장히 좋은 모습을 많이 보여줬지만은 또 제가 봤을 때 아이엠발드에서 살짝은 좀 힘들어하는 모습을 제가 좀 봤던 것 같아요. 이제 첫 번째 거점을 먹고 공격에서 그 다음에 좀 이렇게 힘들어하는 모습을 많이 보여줬던 것 같은데 좀 거기서 좀 어떤 상황들이 일어났고 좀 어떤 문제점이 있었나요?
저희가 원래 화물을 밀다가 2층으로 가기로 약속이 돼 있었거든요. 근데 저희가 올라가는 도중에 계속 소전이 우클릭을 너무 잘 맞춰가지고 좀 힘들었는데 아마도 좀 저희 팀 시그마랑 콜이 잘 안 맞아가지고 제가 계속 우클릭을 맞고 죽었거든요. 그래서 그것 때문에 좀 게임이 많이 말렸던 것 같아요.
Alright. I mean, while we were pushing, we were always pushing, trying to push the cart. Our main, I think, game strategy was going in to Eichenwald into the after the first point was that after we passed through the gate, we were going to go up the second floor, and that's where we wanted to fight. But then the soldier from Washington Justice just kept getting kills with her right clicks, and I do believe that was mainly because there was a lot of miscommunications with our team Sigma, and that's why I got picked first, and that's why we had a lot of trouble on Eichenwald. All right, and also last but not least, my final question for you is, Lastro, you came out with the big Lastro energy today. First of all, I want to congratulate you on that. And I feel like, you know, you are known for your Zenyatta. I know your Lucio has been really good too, but now you're able to finally use your main hero, sort of. So how does that make you feel? Are you excited? Are you happy? Is it more fun for you to play because now you have, you know, you can play more heroes? 마지막 질문은 라스트로 선수 당연히 뭐 루시우도 요즘 너무나 좋은 모습을 많이 보여줬지만은 또 라스트로 하면 또 젠야타가 또 생각이 많이 나잖아요. 이제 이번 메타에서 조금 더 젠야타를 쓰는 모습을 조금씩 보여주고 계신데 그거에 대해서 소감이나 좀 어떠신가요?
루시우 너무 재미없었는데 젠야타를 너무 세게 만들어주셔서 감사하고요. 계속 젠야타 메타였으면 좋겠네요, 저는.
Alright. Honestly, Lucio was actually. Wait, sorry guys. 라스트 선수 방금 루시우가 별로 재미가 없었다고 했었죠? 그 다음에 이제 제네타가 세져서 좋다, 맞죠?
네.
Yeah. All right. So Lastro says that, you know, it was really not fun playing Lucio. It was getting a little boring. So he wants to thank the Overwatch team for buffing Zenyatta, and he wishes that Zenyatta stays in meta for a really long time. All right, Lastro, thank you so much for your time, and again, congratulations on the win. And I hope to talk to you again soon. 자, 이걸로 인터뷰 마치겠고요. 오늘 시간 내주셔서 너무 감사드리고 승리 너무나도 축하드립니다.
감사합니다. 바이바이.
Goodbye, Lastro. Thank you so much for joining us here on our Watchpoint desk for a quick chat with Danny. course, congratulations to the entirety of the Houston Outlaws. Not as one-sided as an affair that some people might have hoped, but it was great to see so many bright spots on that Justice roster. And now, I mean, you're double dipping here, Costa, because not only did you get your prediction right, you also predicted that Krillin is gonna pop right off on that Zenyatta, and that's exactly what he did. So you kind of got everything out of this match.
I am a genius. You're right, Soy, if you're going to pander to me.
Humble genius.
Wow. I don't know about the humble part.
There's no such thing as humble. Well, the thing is, Krillin, I think he did a great job on that. Zenyatta was one of the reasons it was so close and difficult for the Houston Outlaws. But someone else